Okay, so lastly, I'm gonna show you guys the bridge section in Lunatic. This section is sort of a part that isn't necessarily tied to the identity of the song, so to speak. As far as the idea or the identity for this piece, you'll notice the song toggles between 7 and a 4 feel, and it's arpeggiated in a way that I suppose if there's any common thread between the main theme of the song and the bridge, it would be sort of the arpeggiated nature and the sort of selective timing on particular bars. But with the bridge in this song, I wanted to write an alternate chord progression that basically has a similar feel. So you'll notice at the beginning of the song, there's like a synth that plays this sort of arpeggiated chord melody that's basically the, underlying theme in the tune. And when it came to the bridge, it was one of those songs where I can hear it in my head, I don't know exactly where I want to go. So I think sometimes about like, well, how can I take a piece of the identity and then sort of manipulate things in a way where, how I'm arpeggiating and the contour of the line is similar to the theme of the song, but I flip the harmony and change the chords. So I think that often we can, write interesting parts by maintaining some commonality and then, applying a different harmony or chord progression to a given idea. So that's basically where I came from a mental standpoint when approaching this. It's a little bit of a tricky line in the sense that there's some very selective picking when it comes to string skipping, and there's some open chords and things. So this is the shape that I'm beginning this bridge riff with. So that's what I'm looking for here is like kind of, it's an arpeggiated chord, but I'm outlining the progression by playing from the root and on, and then I'm looking for, sort of a sub melody that sits over the top of the chords. Okay, from there, I'm gonna answer it with this next chord. And then, so everything's chordal based, but I'm playing individual notes, of course. And there's only a few shapes that I'm actually using. This first chord is the outlier. It would take me a while to identify exactly what that is, so we're not going to break it down, but the most important thing is actually using the chord as a vector to get to the top and then find my way through the beginning of this melody. Then from here, this is a common shape you see in drop tunings. If you've played through enough Sheet Happens books, you've seen this chord before, I'm sure. So I'm picking from the bottom and aiming for that B string. So skipping the G. And then from the A string consecutively through to the high E. From there, I want to answer it with this shape, which is a similar chord shape. I'm going up and I'm putting my first finger on F sharp, and then I'm using D in the bass. Then I answer it with this. So it's kind of like, pose a question, and then as we make our way through the next rep, I'm going to answer it in the end. This is the same. And then here, that's sort of the answer to our question. So, question, and then answer. So classic call and response. The arpeggio is influenced by the main theme, but it's an alternate progression that gives us the bridge. I don't want to continue coming from the exact same place. There's a lot of B minor in this song, so rather than approaching the bridge from the same tonal center, we start on the 4 chord, and I've created this alternate progression. So a little bit tricky, but I played it at tempo and a little bit slower, so follow along. And it's one of those things where once you get the muscle memory for it, it should feel second nature, and it's a good time. There's a synth doubling it, some piano stuff, and it is also the bed track for the solo that precedes it as well. So that's a tricky one. Have some fun with that and enjoy.